Hello, hello, and welcome to another edition of What a Week. This is a show for us, by us, for you. It wouldn't be the same without our established guests. Please welcome Tony Crosdale. Big up, Tony Crosdale.
Crosdale, cross body, brother.
Cross buddy. You know what it is. I put too much white rum in my drink today, Tony. You can tell I didn't even say who I am. I'm Mr. Steve. and because I'm getting ready for Carnival. I'm drunk already. What are you?
We need to talk about what's happening. We need to talk about what's happening for the Carnival because obviously it's postponed. Let's hope it's postponed, right? Let's see what's happening. What's happening in the virtual world? I know there's some various Carnival parties going on.
They are indeed. But listen, we've got a very special guest as well. Right. Is a young man by the name of Leon John Baptiste. Let's give him a round of applause.
Hey,
hey guys.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So listen, young man, first and foremost, introduce to the people who you are. I know you're a producer. Carnival Uncovered.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, what is Carnival Uncovered? Because old man like me and Tony are thinking that Carnival Uncovered is something to do with the women them half naked and you take off the feathers, you take off this, you take off that.
So Carnival Uncovered was born out of a frustration that I had that every year I'd go to Notting Hill, jump up, have the best time on the road, and then I'd watch the news, whether it's BBC, ITV, whichever one, and then I'd see their version of what happened at Carnival, and it would just really annoy me because I was like, that's not the Carnival I went to. So then I decided that I was going to make it my business to try and challenge the narrative. So I set about contacting designers, DJs, models, all these type of people who are the lifeblood of the industry to kind of get their perspective and share with us what they love about Notting Hill Carnival. So it's a 7-episode series. Episode 1 is out now on YouTube, on House of Black's YouTube channel. And yeah, we'll just be kind of exploring the wonderful world of Mars.
Oh man, that's beautiful. So the fact that you didn't like what you were seeing on TV made you create your own stuff. So we can find it out on YouTube, House of Black. Yeah
House of Black is the YouTube channel, and it's just, the episode is called Welcome to Mars, episode 1 of Carnival Uncovered. But you could also check us out on my Instagram page at House of Black UK, and it's got all of the kind of links in the bio and all that kind of stuff there.
All right, now look, you look like a young man to me. You know, even though your beard is giving mine so a good rivalry. You look like you could have only been to around about 3 carnivals. You know, tell me, when was your first carnival expedition, and what was the impact it had on you in your life?
Right. So the first, my family, we kind of grew up in the West London, Paddington area. So back then, the floats actually used to go down the Harrow Road before they turned up by Sainsbury's. So from a young child, we just used to walk up my Grand's Road and kind of stand by the side and watch all the floats go by. So that was from as young as maybe 7 or 8, really.
Wow.
But it wasn't until I was about 17, old enough to go on my own with my friends, that I kind of went back and fell in love with it all over again.
Because I remember that first feeling when you hit 17, where you can now finally take a wine all by yourself.
Right.
You don't need to hold on to mommy's hand anymore. You can take do you remember your first take a wine, Tony?
That was when the dinosaurs were on the earth, man. It was a long time ago. The time when you can be free as an adult, right?
Right.
Move with your friends and move through the crowd, and as you said, jump and dance up with women and have some alcohol and things like that. Yeah, that first time there, that sort of 15, 16, 17-year-old stage would have sort of blown your mind as a young person, I would imagine, with all the music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Carnival is such an addictive it's an addictive pursuit. It's no wonder that, after a 3-day event, right, or 2-day event, people, they get strong withdrawal symptoms.
Myself included.
100%, man. 100%. Number one, you have to make sure you take the Tuesday and the Wednesday off. from work to
Without
recover. If you're really doing carnival properly, you know, you need those extra 2 days just to get the alcohol out your system, to get, you know, hey, listen, to get the sound of the bass and everything out your eardrums, and most importantly, to go through all the telephone numbers that you're collecting.
Right.
You know, because you meet up with long lost friends, is what I'm trying to say.
No, but it's a fantastic thing you're doing for the culture, and you're absolutely right. And I think a lot of people can take a leaf out of your book. You know, when it comes to, you know, setting up a business or having a business idea, you've got to look for gaps and niches.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the idea that, you know, you would have looked at television and said, well, I'm very dissatisfied with the way this has been covered, and I want to cover it in a way that I'm going to show respect to the culture.
Right.
And then make it even educational by having it about various aspects of the culture, like masks, costumes, and the history and all that. I think it's wonderful. I think, and that, I can guarantee you, young man, that thing is going to take off.
I'm praying so.
100%. So look, obviously there is no carnival for 2020. It's been postponed. How is that affecting yourself, Leon?
Well, I've got them Tabanka blues. I'm upset that I won't be on the road this year. But obviously, we're in the midst of a pandemic. I understand that, so we've got to keep people safe first and foremost. Working on the project, I've kind of been in carnival world. I feel like how the designers feel in the run up when they're in production mode. Getting the costumes ready. I'm there trying to get the episodes ready with my team. So you know, I've been seeing it 24/7 for the past couple of weeks or months. Nothing will beat being on the road, but we hope, even for audiences, that this is a tiny way to try and fill the void of not being there. Because I was very determined to bring people to carnival. Often I'd watch documentaries and stuff about Notting Hill Carnival, and I'd feel it was a little bit dated sometimes or a little bit stuffy. And I thought I want to bring the vibes for this documentary and really let people know what they're missing out on.
Well, look, we've got a little clip of what you do. So let's go straight to it and have a look at the wonderful works of the House of Black, ladies and gentlemen.
Where I'm from originally?
My name is Fiona Compton. I am from St. Lucia, Moshi.
My name is Pepe Francis, originally from Trinidad.
My name is Leslie. I go by the name of Guavs. I'm Ghanaian Jamaican.
My name is Dejana Gift Sims. My heritage is Grenadian and Jamaican.
I'm Kelly from Bacchanalia.
My name is Tanya, also known as Donalty Maid.
My name's Kane.
And my name's Kamika Banton.
My name's Anthea.
My name is Leon.
And my name is Kimya. Everyone calls me Kim mostly because they can't say Kimya.
My name is David St. Croix.
My name is DJ Tate. I grew up in 5 different countries.
My name is Naomi Wilson.
So my name is Dwayne from Trinidad and Jamaica.
I'm half Jamaican and half Dominican.
Half Trini, half Ghanaian.
I was born in Trinidad.
And I'm from St. Lucia.
Parents are St. Lucian.
Parents are from Grenada.
But I would say I'm Vincentian because that's where I learned to curse. Wherever you learn to curse, that's where you're from.
Oh my God, fantastic, man. Fantastic.
Thank you.
I saw a couple of faces that I know there. DJ Tate, also Kelly as well. Yeah, man.
Yep, Bacchanalia. Yep.
Miss Fiona Compton.
Oh, yep.
Well,
Yep.
And there was
So are they those individuals? Are they part of a group, a collective, or was it just that you were just interviewing them?
Nah, so also the past 2 to 3 years, I had been working a little bit behind the scenes with some mass bands and really getting the access that I needed. So having that access, I became really aware of who I would say the modern day movers and shakers are. That's not to say there aren't people that came before them and veterans that have paved the way, but just in my generation, in my experience, these are the people who are really shaking things up. So I went through a long quote unquote casting process of me making sure that I would pick the right people that the community would be like, yeah, we know these people are really helping push the culture forward.
No, man, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And you know what, it was good to see, because this is the first time I'm seeing people who are part of the carnival actually being interviewed.
Right.
It's like, it just straight away, it just pinged in my head. It's like,
all these years the so-called coverage of Notting Hill Carnival is nonsense. Right.
This is the real thing. So again, you know, that's Carnival Uncovered. It's on House of Black on YouTube. And we have to give you a big round of applause, Liam, for doing this, man. You're doing the works, my brother.
Thank you, man. Trying.
Get that on Netflix.
Yeah, that's the dream. That's the dream, man. I hope they'll give me a pot of money and I can do it properly.
Yeah. And tell them you want a pot of money. That you don't want no patty and no.
Right.
Yeah. You want proper things.
Yeah.
No, excellent.
Definitely can be done. So,
I mean, if it's not going to be this project, it's going to be the next one. You know, but clearly by looking at the trailer, you've got talent.
Thank you.
100%, man. Now look, stick around, Liam, because what we like to do here on What a Week, we like to have a look at some of the news that's affected us as people of color, Black people, Africans, Caribbeans, and we like to have a little talk about it. So you've got your headphones on. It'll be always good to hear the perspective of a young Black man, especially someone who's as positive as yourself. So the first story we want to cover is it's happened in Wisconsin, in a place called Kenosha.
Yeah, Kenosha.
And again, who would have thought that we would be having another one of these stories? Another young Black male, unarmed, shot in the back 7 times by the police. I think we've got a little clip here that we'd like to show. Again, please, this clip can be a bit disturbing. So if you're a little bit squeamish, look away now. If you've got children, then please cover their eyes and their ears.
Wow.
You know what? It's the first time I've seen that because when the videos were coming around to me, I didn't want to see it because I feared for the worst. But we just want to say that by the grace of God and the Creator Almighty, he's still alive. His name is Jacob Blake, and he's still alive. Tony,
thanks.
When you received the news, yet again, another Black man almost slain by the police, what was running through your mind?
Oh man, I was shocked to the core, man, seeing that video. That video was even more shocking than the George Floyd to me. You know, I mean, there's a few questions to be answered with regard to that video. You know, what was the context? Not about justification for whatever happened, but what was actually going on? Because what we saw was the brother going to his car now, and then with the police actually pointing guns at him. I don't know what that context was. I mean, apparently I read somewhere that they had tried to tase him and it was unsuccessful, right? But oh man, dude, I don't know what sort of psychology it takes to shoot a man in the back 7 times. And like you pointed out, miraculously the guy is alive. However, the other side of this is now that there are riots now that are starting.
Yeah, protests. Let's call them protests.
The mayor made a speech basically condemning it, but obviously protests have now started, and that's going to continue for a while. So imagine in all this, in all of this George Floyd, Black Lives Matter movement, you get police that still feel shooting a man 7 times in the back is appropriate.
And the thing that's quite shocking there is that the police he's got hold of his T-shirt. You didn't even try to grab him, or it was just oh man, I have to laugh. I mean, Leon, you're a young man. I mean, have you been to America?
Yeah, I was over there about 2 years ago for work, actually.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, America's a really interesting place to me. I mean, as a filmmaker and stuff, I'm tempted to go there as there's lots of opportunities. Black Brits tend to do really well over there. But I mean, when you see all that kind of stuff, it's just like, is it worth it? Because it's just ridiculous. And they will keep doing it because they keep getting away with it. Do you know what I mean? Of course, you're going to feel brave enough to shoot a man 7 times in his back when you've got however many other Black people that got killed this year and nothing happened to any of them. There was no consequences. I think that's what the problem is. Like, why would they? I mean, we'd like them to stop from a moral perspective, but I mean, if they know they're going to get away with it.
I mean, the reason why they was called to this particular situation is because of a domestic situation. So you think to yourself, it's not a robbery. It's not an act of I'm assuming it's not an act of violence. Nobody's life is at threatened. There's no need for them to draw a weapon on this man whatsoever at all for a domestic incident. It's just it's alarming how quickly they escalate and react violently as regards to when it comes to black people. Thank you for watching. We've got Maria Angelico Manara Gertes watching from the Philippines. Again, if you've got any comments and you'd like to join in the discussion, please drop us a line and we'll read out your comments and try and answer any questions that you've got. What justice do you think can happen in this situation? What would you like to see happen?
Obviously, we've got obviously the George Floyd case we discussed last week, which is coming to trial.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the other case of what's her name, Breonna Taylor, which there are protests going on over her death, and to charge the cops involved in that, and now I can't remember the other brother who was in the car park. Do you recall him? He was in the car park and basically he ran away and they shot him.
Yeah, been so many.
But yeah, there's so many cases coming out. I don't know. I mean, obviously, what we want is justice. Right, but like I've always keep pointing out, it's not if this is the last time we're ever going to see this. It's when is the next time, and it seems like every week we come on this show, we have something to talk about in this regard. And who's going to stop it ultimately? I mean, there are campaigns to defund the police, alter the way police carry out arrests and all that. But there are clearly these individuals out there who. They're rogue. They do what they want, right? And how do you actually bring that to an end?
Well, listen, me personally, I think it's going to all come on top sooner or later because I can feel the blood boiling up in people. Like again, we're seeing the protest. The mayor, I believe, has issued a curfew, which will be in place up until 7 o'clock on Monday morning. However, people are not even paying attention to the curfew. The National Guard has been called. It's looking pretty tense out there, man. It's looking pretty tense. And I mean, again, if that's your family member, you're watching being shot in the back 7 times like that. It's. I mean, again, if you've got the right to bear arms, surely sooner or later, somebody who's licensed to carry a gun, I think is going to retaliate, and I think that's when it's going to become really scary.
It's inevitable. I mean, the question I would want to ask, looking at that video, is again, looking at it in context, is why was the brother walking away when police had guns at his back? I mean, that doesn't look to me like a normal reaction that someone would have if you had 3 cops pointing guns at you. I mean, obviously, we can't tell from the video what the context was, but I'm kind of. I'm surprised. For example, I mean, anybody who had guns pointed at them would stop still, right, and say, "Wagwan, I Dotty Babylon, stopping me and blah blah blah." But the guy just walked off like he didn't really care.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that would have been about.
We can make an assumption because of what you're saying there, Tony, that he might have been under the influence of some sort of substance. Again, it's an assumption. We don't know the facts, but even if he was, then still, I think the police need to show a care of duty for that person,
right.
Some duty of care for that person, and
right.
Try to physically put their hands on him, handcuff him, restrain him. Drawing for your guns is supposed to be the last thing you do. Blossom Nation says the U.S. police that act this way are totally inadequate, incompetent. This has gone beyond ridiculous. Thank you, Blossom. It really has.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think you're right. Right, he might have been in a certain frame of mind, but that could have been handled much better than that.
Yeah, I personally would love them to defund the police, man, because as a young black guy, whether I'm speaking to family members or friends, like how many of us can say that we would feel safe if we called the police, and like we're paying taxes for these things, and it's just like it's a service that doesn't even serve us. I think it's become redundant. I don't know. I'm not saying I have the answers of what needs to be put in place of it, but it's not working. Like they're killing us more than they're helping us.
Well, there was I can't remember which state in America it was, but one of the things what they were arguing is that, and I think it will work very well all over the world, is that the police should be a representative of the community that they serve. So therefore, you know, if you live in, say, London, all of those police officers should come from London. If you're in a particular borough of London, then those police officers should be members of that particular borough. They should live in the borough, and that way they get a sense and a feel of the community, and probably be, you know, back to how it used to be in the 60s and 70s. The Bobby on the beat who understands the community that he's walking amongst. That, you know, he's familiar with people, they're familiar with him, and that way there's a cohesion of community spirit between the police and the community, and they can get things done more effectively, as opposed to drafting somebody who's never been into London, never mind the inner cities of London, who's probably the last time he saw a black man was Nelson Mandela on TV when he was becoming president, and then all of a sudden you drop him in Brixton, Peckham, or Harlesden, and he feels like he's behind enemy lines in Vietnam, and he's just ready to shoot anybody or lick down anybody he sees. So it'd be interesting to see what happens, but we'll keep you posted on this story as it grows, because I'm sure this is not the end of it. We move on with the police, and again, it seems to be this guy, Stormzy, man. He is something else. He is. People say he did the song too big for his boots, but listen, his boots are massive. Once again, Stormzy shouts out as by cops. Tony, I think you've got the lead on this particular story.
Yeah, this is a very interesting story. Our man Stormzy again. Apparently, the police carried out a raid where they, I can't remember what, Cambridgeshire or Lincolnshire, whatever it was, where they seized X amount of Class A drugs, cocaine, heroin. But the way they wrote it up on their Twitter, the Metropolitan Police said, police have raided, they have raided an establishment ahead of the Notting Hill Carnival where they seized X amount of Class A drugs. And Stormzy picked up on that and sort of put on his Twitter in response to the police, why did you have to connect that raid to the Notting Hill Carnival when it has nothing to do with it?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's an interesting point, because you know, the way language is used, it can lead your mind to believe that something is connected to something else when it actually is not.
Well, the uncut cocaine was actually seized in Catford.
Oh,
it's actually seized in Catford. So you know, what the hell has that got to do with Notting Hill Carnival? You know, how do you know it was the intent was to be distributed or sold or used in Notting Hill Carnival? Is absolute terrible. But
the way the mind works, you see, the way the mind works, you hear Catford, you think, oh, black people live in Catford. You think Notting Hill Carnival, you say black people go to Notting Hill Carnival. The police then bridge those two by saying ahead of the Notting Hill Carnival, and immediately now your mind is like, oh well, so these guys want drugs that they were going to push it. No wonder we should cancel the Notting Hill Carnival. It's the agenda that's at play through language.
Precisely. It's funny that you bring that up, because in the documentary, in one of the later episodes, is something we discuss, some of the representation around it, specifically, whether it's from the press, especially linking, you know, random events that might happen up the road, and they're just piggybacking off the event to kind of leave a sour taste in everyone's mouth about Carnival. But again, that's why we got to fight the narrative, because until we start to, you know, get some ownership over our events and our spaces, and we tell the world what these things are, it's going to keep happening. And I feel like the time for other people telling us who we are and you know, about our things is over, because they're not doing a good job of communicating with the wider public.
And I think that's what makes this intervention by Stormzy so great. You know, that he's picked up on it straight away and has retorted back, right? And slammed that narrative back where it belongs, right? Which, you know, and pointing out, look, we can see your game. We know what your game is,
right?
And we're not having it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Liam.
No, because interestingly, one of the, I don't want to give too much away, but one of the cast members in our show was comparing some of the stats, like between Notting Hill Carnival and somewhere like Glastonbury. And I can't remember what they were off the top of my head, but it's just like, when you look at the ratio of number of attendees versus either number of crimes or number of like cases of drug use and whatever, like Notting Hill is actually like really low considering the amount of people that we have coming into the city at that time. And they never kind of want to focus on it in that way. It's always, you know, it's disappointing, man.
100%. But we, you know, I think that, you know, Stormzy is right, and we just need more affluent people of positions to challenge every time, you know, when one of these stereotypical propaganda type moves are being done by, whether it be the Metropolitan Police, whether it be by, you know, again, you know, the newspapers or TV companies, TV stations. We need to definitely hell them out, shame them, and let them retract their statement. So big up Stormzy once again, man. Gee whiz, man.
Mm-hmm.
So Tony, have you picked up any stories from abroad at all? Anything caught your eye overseas?
Yes. This is the sort of strangest story I've heard in a long while, and perhaps we can put the screenshot up there. It's about a woman, a sister in Detroit, 20 years old. Right? She was pronounced dead, taken to a funeral home in order to be embalmed. They opened the body bag, and the woman had her eyes open. She was alive.
Mad.
Wow.
They were just about to embalm the woman.
Wow.
And she opened her eyes.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow. Gee whiz. I don't even know what to say. That is, well, you know what? First and foremost, give thanks.
Yeah.
You know, because I could imagine for anybody having to find out that their 20-year-old daughter had passed away, but to find out that she hadn't actually passed away and that she was just about to be, that's a big boo-boo, whoever's made that mistake.
Right. Her mother sort of going through a roller coaster of emotions, as you can imagine. And the questions have to be asked. I mean, who basically, what training do these people have to pronounce people? Can you imagine this is one case, but can you imagine the cases of people who've actually been pronounced dead, right, and buried in a coffin and woke up?
Yeah, listen, yeah. I mean, you had the old stories, didn't you, where people had coffins made with bells inside them, so just in case they woke up, that they could ring these bells and somebody would hear the bell and they'd be dug back up. But yeah, it makes you think that, you know, are they really kind of like doing the proper testing to see if all your vital signs have actually flatlined, or are they just is somebody just putting a finger under the nose and saying, yeah, in gone, she gone, you know, then gone, because how can you diagnose somebody as dead only for them to wake up, eyes open? And this happened in America. You know, I was expecting you to say some third world country, to be honest with you.
No. I mean, you know, I think the staff in the funeral home obviously got a shock and they thought they were in a scene from a zombie movie.
Right.
Just as they opened the bag, right, the woman's eyes opened.
Well, I could tell you, Tony, if that was me working in there and I opened the bag and her eyes, I'd still be running now. I'd still be running. You know, it's probably a good thing it was in America, because if it was in Jamaica, they would have given her one bitch lick. she might have dead again.
Both.
Because you know how we are, you know, we're like dopey.
Can you imagine the staff must have been screaming, man? Like,
listen. But again, just in defense of I just pulled up some details there. Just in defense, that apparently the young lady's name is Tamisha Bucamp. She was unresponsive at home in Michigan. The ambulance crew, hospital crew, spent 30 minutes doing CPR on her. So it's not as I was suggesting earlier, just a finger under the nose. They actually spent 30 minutes doing CPR on the lady and then pronounced her dead. So it just goes to show, Tony, probably like what you're saying, that, you know, some people may actually die. And then for some, you know, again, we see it in the films all the time, and we always say, nothing a gossa. You know, like when somebody gets pulled out and the woman kisses him, and then all of a sudden he coughs up all of the water when he was drowning. You think, that's stupidness. But here's a living example of the fact that, even in death, when it's not your time, it's not your time. That's a big compensation that family's going to receive. We wish you well, Tamisha Bucamp, and enjoy your second spell of life here on Earth, man.
Right.
Wow. This week, what can I say? I had the pleasure of going into the BBC and looking at a particular program called Famalam, where I was shown a series of sketches, which some of the fantastic young people have done, and some of them reminded me of the real McCoy, because of the depth and the smartness and the cleverness of some of the sketches. And then they showed me this sketch, Jamaican Countdown.
Yes, and welcome back to Countdown, the game show about spelling and ting. Sean, tell me, girl Carol, which letters you want on the board?
All right then, Carol. Ooh. Well, Carol, I can put tool picnic in your barrel. Give me a vowel. And another vowel. And a consonant. And a vowel. And another vowel. And a consonant. And a consonant. Give me a vowel. And another vowel. And a consonant. And a consonant. Now take two vowels and give your boom boom skin up.
Put it on the board. 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 And a vowel. And a consonant. And another vowel. And a consonant. And a vowel. And a consonant.
Boy, you take it too far. You have enough letter up on the board there. Right, Ebenezer, run the rhythm, Rasta. Good to go. Wind your waist up and bounce around and then swing your teeth up and thumb the clap and then shake a foot like you're at the carnival. When you hear the countdown, conundrum, it's letters, numbers, and a big cock. Boom. Sean, how many letters in your word?
Me have 6 letters in my word, and my word is buckle. Like, you know when you have a nice buckle of Guinness?
Shelly Ann, how many letters in your word?
My word is penguins. Like them something that you find a South Pole or in the film, what the film name again? Happy Feet.
Sensational. And my brother Ray, how many letters your word did have?
What is it?
My brother Ray has the right idea. That's a vibe still. Burn these letters and things and let's shake a foot. Come on.
Oh my days, my days, my days. When they said shake a foot, it wasn't that I was expecting to drop out at 6 o'clock. That was the BBC Three's Famalams and the sketch Jamaican Countdown. Leanne, this is something which is appealing to your age group. How did you find that particular sketch?
This I must be honest, this was my first time seeing it. Yeah, I mean, it did make me laugh. I used to work in comedy for a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it was authentic enough. I thought it was a good effort. I mean, from what I've seen now, because I have a love-hate relationship with some of the comedy stuff when it comes to like showing people of Caribbean descent or whatever, because it's always got to be some foolery that we're doing when the bigger channels want to pick us up. So sometimes that's my gripe. But this one, it seemed a little bit authentic.
Well, Tony, what was your thoughts when you saw Jamaican Countdown?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot more to make me laugh, to be honest with you. You know, I can see how it would remind you of Real McCoy. It does have that sort of spirit, doesn't it? But you know what? 2 Jamaican ministers were not happy. right?
Yeah.
So just a quick read of Chris Tufton, who is the Health and Wellness Minister, says, who decided that this was funny? Absolute disrespect and disgrace. The Honourable Kamina J. Smith, who is I believe is the Foreign Secretary of Jamaica. This is outrageous and offensive to the incredible community I am proud to represent, along with every Jamaican at home and within the diaspora. I will immediately be writing formally on this show.
And Sharon Webb has said it was rubbish. Now look, again, myself being a comedian, I saw Norm Ferguson saying it was rubbish too. Sharon Webb saying it was a disgrace. Give your fingers a rest now, Sharon. we get your feelings. We get your feelings. Yeah. Being a comedian myself, I saw the funnies in I saw the funnies in the premise. However, as soon as I saw it, I thought Jamaican people are not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy. It's a bit dated. However, I think you have to watch the whole series of Famalam to see that it goes from one extreme to another, and every now and then these are young people who are trying their best to find their feet in what's funny and what's not. And I think that in some areas they get it so spot on that I think even yourself, Sharon, Norms, there's other sketches what they've done that you will be very proud of the work that they've done. And I think every now and then, as it is when you're growing, that you're going to make a little bit of a mistake here and there. And I think we need to allow them the space to make those mistakes, because the payoff is going to be fantastic come the next season. So this is season 3. They've got one particular sketch which my days, you've got to watch. You log on to BBC 3 Famalam, and there's one particular sketch of a young black woman at work who's been sent a birthday greeting by her boyfriend. It's absolute genius. Absolute genius.
Telegram.
Yeah. I don't want to give too much away, but it's absolute. Tony, you've seen it, have you? Yeah.
It's fun.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
This setup here was it wasn't. It just. I don't know. I looked at it and I cringed. Some of the accents were dodgy. Do you know what I mean? Too authentic, to be honest with you. And I could now see it. I can understand why, people of Jamaican descent would have been, not too pleased. But as you said, Mr. C, it's one of those things. Even the real McCoy didn't get every sketch right.
Come on, that's exactly.
There are going to be some experiments. It's some of it's going to be high, some of it's going to be low. So.
Right.
And I think, to be honest with you, the whole team there at Famalam, we should really be proud of them. They're young people trying to find their feet. Again, as we've seen, it's been 25 years since BBC have even replayed The Real McCoy. So, we're already at a 25-year disadvantage, you may as well say, as regards to our young people being on screen, being on TV, writing the stuff themselves and finding a way to get that narrative right. So Tom Mucci, Samson, KO, and the rest of the team, salute, man. Salute.
No, that's a very good point. I think if we had progressed from Real McCoy and developed our structure and our writing and our presentation, that would have probably been a much more superior performance, right? And more varied, I would imagine. But you're right. I think we're stuck. I think one of the Jamaicans I saw on Twitter said, "Look, this is like a very outdated stereotype." Right. And it was. It looked very much like the Real McCoy, like how the Real McCoy would do a Jamaican sketch in the 90s. You know what I mean? And I think it's because what you said, Mr. C, that we haven't had an opportunity to display that craft over the intervening period. So it hasn't developed.
Yeah, I used to work at BBC Comedy for a little bit, and to be honest, that's why I never stayed, because it was really frustrating. Whenever they get a story that comes through, like it seems, I get it's comedy and we got to laugh, but it seems like that's the only type of narrative that they're interested in us when we're, making a little bit of a fool out of ourselves or being a little bit silly. And until like they have enough writers and directors who will kind of have a bit more responsibility. I'm not saying just on Famalam, but just across the board of like, we're not going to make ourselves look like this because it's the only opportunity that we're getting, in the same way that I'm trying to, do things on my own. That's exactly why. Because when you sometimes deal with these bigger broadcasters, that's what they're expecting you to do, and I'm just not really prepared to do that anymore.
Well, salute you, man. Salute you. And again, it comes back to like what we were saying a few weeks ago or last week, as regards to even Sideman, when Sideman is saying I will not work for the BBC if this is their views and this is the way how they see black people, and they're not going to be apologetic for some of their behavior. So yeah, well done to you, having some principles and standing up and finding your own way to showcase us in the right light.
Trying, man.
It's funny. It's funny. I just read an article earlier this week from the historian. You probably would have seen his program about Black Britain called David Olusola.
Yeah.
And he pointed out that a whole generation of black talent has been lost because of the BBC. So when you're in a situation now with the BBC where you're an actor and the scriptwriter says to you, or the producer says, "Oh, we've got a great idea. What you need to do is do Jamaican Countdown, run with all these stereotypes." It worked in the 90s with the Real McCoy, and obviously these guys have very little power but want to put on a performance, put on a show, get their thing started. They're gonna be part of it. So this is
because we need money at the end of the day, so it's really hard to turn it down.
It's not like these actors, those comedians, so we're not doing it because we want to represent our community no more. Their choices are very limited because behind the scenes there's so little power representing them that they kind of just go with the flow and say, you know what, all right, let's do it, and hopefully, it might work.
Yep, that's completely right. Yeah,
definitely, man. Definitely. Well, look, Norms Ferguson says, shouldn't they find a way to reach across to other nations as comedy has no language? A very good point there. And to be honest with you, with Famaland, they do take a pot, at every culture. They have a dig at Africans, they have a dig at Caribbeans, they have a dig at white people. They, all right across the board, they have a dig. So again, I think they're upholding that old chestnut as regards to comedy, that nobody is safe, even Yardies.
Yeah.
Oh man. Tony, you've got another wonderful story for us, and again, I've been told that this story you've got for us is an absolute lovely one.
Oh yes. Now imagine in Nigeria, the last thing you would expect to see in Nigeria is a ballet dancer. I think we do have a video that went viral of this young man who has a love for ballet.
Ballet is my life and I practice everywhere. And when I'm dancing, I feel as if I'm on top of the world. And anytime my mom sends me an errand, I dance ballet before I go to that place. And it makes me feel very, very happy. I so much love ballet. I practice everywhere, so because he said, practice make perfect.
In front of you, side and. From the front, side, croisé. Yes, hold. Lovely. And down. From the front, run the jab. All the way. London to the lunge. 5, 6, 7, and.
They feel like, what is this boy doing? Is he doing a foreign dance? I won a grand prize to go to the US in the year 2021, and I'm very, very happy about that. I'll be in the plane, and this is what I'm waiting for, and ballet has done it for me.
The Nigerian.
Wow.
You picked a great one there, my brother. You picked a great one there.
Wow.
Good evening, Debs. You picked a great one, Tony. I mean, wow. Listen, I've got to admit, ballet, it's not the kind of thing that I'll see at the Royal Lounge on a Saturday night. Actually, I can see you in a tutu there, Tony.
With all the grace of a rhino.
The grace of a rhino. Hey, listen, man, absolutely fantastic. The fact that, you know, what a great ambassador he is, not just for his country, but also for that school, which has been teaching him for free. You know, just, I don't know much about ballet, but just looking at that, looking at the standard that he was at, he was amazing.
Bro, he had bare feet on concrete ground.
Right.
In the rain. In the rain.
Killing it.
You know?
Yeah, man.
And
proof that we can do anything, man.
Yeah. It reminds me a bit of that film. I didn't see it, but I remember seeing the trailer, Billy Elliot, about the boy who wanted to be a dancer, right? And his dad said to him, well, why do you want to be a dancer? That's for girls. Can you imagine a place like Nigeria?
Right.
That he would be a very unusual young man, right? Wanting to dance ballet, which wasn't really, well, I guess a lot of the young men and young girls in Nigeria will be dancing Afrobeats choreography, as we've been seeing a lot of videos and stuff. But this young man decides to go into ballet, and can you imagine the sort of pressure he's been put under, the peer pressure of why would you want to take up girls dancing? And yet, you know, he sticks to his guns and practices, and look what's happened.
Listen, it's taken him on a plane to the US of A, mate, you know? And even the fact that he's saying, what where are you going with all of this dancing business?
The only thing that worried me is when he said, and I love to go to dancing. I thought, what is that now? No, come on now. Come on, do that. There's no need for that to expect. But a great story. I believe, I mean, I read somewhere else, it was the New York School of Ballet that basically pulled him up. So, you know, to get a scholarship for that. Dude, anything can happen, man. You know, anything can happen. You know, the man never expected, you know, that he would get that sort of attention, and oh man, he's gonna smash it. You can see he's got that determination, can't you?
Yeah.
Listen, if as you said, if you can dance on concrete in the rain like that, barefooted, listen, when he gets his ballet shoes and he's on a proper, you know, dance floor, he's going to be absolutely out of this world. Sean Adela says, wonderful story. Hopefully there'll be a film made about this young man. Is that the kind of film that you would kind of create, Leon?
Yeah, I actually would, man. Like, again, we're all about showcasing and celebrating black talent, and I believe we can do anything and everything. Like, young black boys don't grow up thinking, oh, boom, I want to be a ballet dancer, but there's nothing we can't do. So definitely.
So
it's such a great story to be worth making at least a documentary about that.
Yeah,
you know? Or actually black boys who want to get into ballet.
Or
conventional disciplines that are only attributed to Europeans, for example.
Exactly,
well, listen, and again, we're living in different times now, because, you know, me personally, you know, 20 years ago, if my son said to me, you know, Daddy, I want to do ballet, I would have been too happy. I was saying there's only one person in this house who can wear tights, and that's your mother, son. But, you know, I'm just being honest.
Right.
No man, no Caribbean, Afro-Caribbean man wants to hear his son want to put on tights and dance ballet. No, that's not what. However, that young man has inspired me to have a much more open mind, and I wish him all the best. And that, me too, that'd be a film that I would watch. So listen, if your child is watching, I've just looked at the weather outside. It's raining. So if you've got your child watching this particular version of What a Week, send him out into the rain right now. No shoes on his feet, no socks on, and videotape him. Yeah, and that could be and if you're lucky, you could get the little so and so out of the house. Because I know you must be getting on your nerves with this lockdown blues.
So let's just a quick thing where Leon's concerned. What future projects have you got planned post lockdown?
So this is the first of many. Carnival Uncovered is just taking a look at the carnival world, but there's hopes to do stuff around all other areas within the Black British entertainment space. So taking a look at actors, taking a look at dancers, taking a look at artists, entrepreneurs, because somebody's got to shout about us and celebrate us. I'm not going to wait any longer for like the mainstream media to do it. Now I've got the skills, so can make it happen. And aside from that, that's quite what I'd call documentary type content. But we've also got some scripted like short films and stuff due to come out over the next year or so. So yeah, as I said, if you kind of follow us on the YouTube page or on the Instagram, you can kind of stay up to date with all the latest updates. The number one thing we're looking for, if any producers out there, as I said, put some money, whether it's the broadcasters, anybody, if you're looking to engage with young black talent, you know, there's a lot of talk going on at the minute saying that because of Black Lives Matter and all the rest of it, they want to do better. Well, anybody watching, I'm right here. If you want to get in touch, please do, because there's a lot that we want to share with audiences. There's a lot we've got to say.
Leon, have you approached any of the main broadcasters? So obviously, I know you've already got a relationship with the BBC. Have you spoken to the likes of Channel 4 or Sky or any of those?
Do you know what? After I graduated in about 2013, studying broadcast media, and around that time, I was, you know, having a lot more relationships with the broadcasters and trying to get stuff moving. But because of, again, not saying I don't like Famalam, but because I would see that often what would come through these mainstream broadcasters would end up becoming a bit too stereotyped for my taste. Like my biggest frustration as an audience member is that I never really watch the TV and see my mum or my gran or my cousins. I'm just like,
yeah, good point.
I've been alive 30 years. Why can't I see them? So that's why there's modern kind of filmmakers like Issa Rae. I don't know if you know her. She's an American writer and actress, right? So she kind of went about doing her own thing on YouTube, and then it got, you know, a lot of attention and a lot of love. And then I feel like that positioned her to have a little bit more leverage and a bit more creative control. So kind of, it's not financially, you know, the most secure route to take, but I'm trying to go down that trajectory because that way I don't have to kind of compromise my artistry, because I want to show us for who we really are.
Well, listen,
isn't that the sort of general thing that if it's almost like signing for a record deal, isn't it?
Right.
You've come, you know, they like you because you produced this great track. You go and then they tell you, oh, this is what we see for your image. Yeah. And all of a sudden, because they're now paying you, they're now controlling the way your music is output, and then it doesn't work out.
Yeah,
and a lot of artists, again, like in your space, they go independent because that seems to be the best way to go.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we've got quite a few people still online watching. If you've got any ideas or if there's any stories that you would like Leon and the House of Black to produce, then now's your time. We've got the talent. He's got the skills. If you've got the ideas, feel free to type away in the comments and let him know what kind of films you'd like to watch. Obviously, we've got the Billy Elliot film, which Tony's going to star in. It's going to be called Billy Elephant. Oh my days!
I mean, Netflix is doing a great job, aren't they? Because they're going around the world, and now, particularly in Africa, now they're picking up all these producers and directors from out of Africa who are making some really great shows that you know, that they can expose Africa to the world. And I think this is a great time to be a producer. And this season of Black Lives Matter is the opportunity for you to take advantage of as a black producer, because now we've got people feeling guilty, right? Exactly. You know, we can use that. We can use that as leverage to get into places where ordinarily, right, those doors would remain firmly shut. So I can see our situation improving a lot more. But will it ever get to a state where it's like, you know, like it's like everybody else? You know, that's always going to be the question. But when you're the dominant society, obviously you make the calls. Until we have something resembling, you know, a broadcast station and stuff like that, then we're always going to be going, unfortunately, cap in hand to the big corporations.
Yeah,
definitely. But the time is now. Definitely. I say to you, Leon, that, you know, again, because what will happen now, there's a lot of gatekeepers who are they're not around at the moment. You can go direct to a lot of people. You'll be having Zoom meetings with people who before it would take you 6 to 8 months to even get their email address, where now they'll have a Zoom meeting with you, and what you've got content.
Yeah.
And they're looking for content. So push it, young man. You know, start hitting up some of those email addresses saying, hey, this is me, I represent House of Black, this is what I've got, and send it to them. Definitely, you know. So on Instagram, we can follow you on House of Black UK.
On Instagram, yeah, that's right, at House of Black UK.
And YouTube, it's
just House of Black.
House of Black. So listen, people, let's get behind this young man.
Sorry, and of course the website www.houseofblack.co.uk. There you can find everything. So
wonderful. And look, Norm is saying,
don't forget to use the power of WhatsApp, man. There's no such there's no greater power than using WhatsApp within your groups. Send that trailer out, especially this week. We're looking forward to Carnival. It's not going to happen.
Right.
Send your trailer out. Let's just have a look at it. I know let's look at what we're missing. But then let's start asking the questions: who made this? Who did what? Is it?
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Put your links in there. Let's all start searching you out.
Thank you. Yeah.
So look, in closing, from Norms Ferguson, there she says, "I wish Leon, determined young man, all the best in his endeavors, and pray that we will support him to the fullest."
Yes, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, listen, as time flies, all that's left is for me to say, all you get your drinks ready. Because Carnival soon come.
My flag.
You got a flag, Tony? You have your flag? Sharon Webster, she's going to be looking you up. I hope it's to do with his business, Sharon, and not anything else. Just playing with you, darling.
Yeah, hit me up.
So, any final words you've got for our watchers, Leanne?
No, I just want to say thank you to you guys first and foremost for having me. I really enjoyed speaking with you guys. Keep up the good work. Discussing all the topics about the culture. I appreciate it. And to all the viewers, thanks for watching. As I said, check me out. Check houseofblack.co.uk. Give the video a watch. Please leave us a comment and let me know what you think, because we love the feedback. So yeah. And Tony.
Excellent. So today, what stood out to me is the talent, young talent. The next generation coming up, they're no slouches. They've got ambition. They want to move forward. They want to take the world by storm. Let's support them in that.
There you go. And all that's left for me to say is we want to wish one of our heartbeats, Terry, a happy birthday today. She celebrates her.
Terry.
Happy birthday.
I think she's 18 again, 25 again. She can't be any more than 25, but we wish her a big happy birthday, sending her lots of love. And again, it's What a Week, ladies and gentlemen. Catch us same time, same place next week for What a Week. Take care.